Dear Phil Weiser, this is a letter that I wrote to Phil Weiser. I thought he was going to be at the 12th Judicial District on Wednesday, but he wasn't, okay? It was a DA from Jefferson County. Nonetheless, I, put this letter together. I don't know if Phil Weiser will ever, but the point is, in the 12th Judicial District, there are big gaping holes in the system. And even though Alonzo Payne's main intention that the poor should not be criminalized shouldn't be forgotten, we should respect victims' rights. Criminals need to be criminalized. Not poverty, but criminals should be criminalized. Alonzo Payne. So poverty needs land reform and UBI and love and encouragement. Also, perhaps it wasn't bail reform we need, but jail reform. Mayberry sets a great example, adding some professionalism to the administration of justice around here in the 12th Judicial District would go a long way. During these times of change, for the sake of the future of the San Luis Valley, we need to build some great long-term institutions for the 12th Judicial District. Here's 8 goals for an Attorney General representing the DA's office to spearhead for the future of the SLV. Number 1, robust mediation, arbitration, pretrial diversion / restorative justice programs for the SLV. Number 2, recruit, hire, encourage more process servers for the SLV. Standardize the felony complaint process into a convenient 10-step procedure. Number 4, have a public defender on deck for the newly accused first appearance, like John Larroquette, Night Court. Number 5, strengthen the city of Alamosa's municipal court. They're the ones that had the damn problem with the judicial branch, and they got their own judicial branch right there in their own front yard, right there in their kitchen, right there in their living room. They have a municipal court, so strengthen their municipal court instead of, telling everybody else how to. So number 6, establish pretrial services to close gap between being arrested and also now we have no DA. Is that better? Before we had a DA that was willing to prosecute cases. Now we don't have a DA. That's better? That was the direction. That was what He's a prosecutor, but he doesn't prosecute everything. He only prosecutes like 90% of the things. So we got rid of him and now he prosecutes nothing. Okay, so strengthen the city. Establish pretrial services to close the gap between being arrested and going before a judge. Establish a common law for Colorado so we're all on the same page. Here's 10 laws, okay? Can you bastards follow 10 fucking laws? Develop a grand jury system or create police courts for the SLV. I didn't do all the cussing, but I'm making it entertaining for you, America, okay? I'm doing this for you, restorative justice. I'm not going to read all this, but there's, CRS about restorative justice. It means practices. I'll just define what restorative justice is, okay? It means practices that emphasize repairing the harm caused to victims and the community by the offenses. Restorative justice, the practices include, but are not limited to, victim offender conferences, family group conferences, circles, community conferences, and other similar victim-centered practices. And that goddamn, hey, Victor Offender Conference. Now we have a family group conference. Now let's get into these circles, working class circles. Let's have a community conference. Restorative justice practices are facilitated meetings attended voluntarily by the victim and or the victim's so-called victim's representatives, the victim's supporters, the offender's supporters, and may include community members. By engaging the parties to the offense in voluntary dialogue, restorative justice practices provide an opportunity for the offender to accept responsibility for the harm caused to the victim and community, promote victim healing, enable the participants to agree on consequences to repair the harm to the extent possible, including but not limited to apologies, community service, reparation, restoration, counseling. Restorative justice practices may be used in addition to other conditions, consequences, or sentence imposed by the court. CRS 18-1-901 definitions 3.0.5. CRS 18-1-901 definitions 3.0.5. 0.5. What should be the 10-step criminal procedure for Colorado? Clearly, arrest, summons, bail bond hearing, advisement of charges, preliminary hearing, disposition hearing, arraignment, motions hearing, pretrial readiness conference, a jury trial, and sentencing. Just standardize that. Just have that just in a goddamn... As soon as you walk in the courthouse, you just... and then have all the victims' rights, like all 30 victims' rights on the business card. So you just say, okay, here's your victims'